Hey everybody, Sean here from Somm Wine Club, and I have got some wine for you. So this is the 2021 Whistler Wines Atypical Shiraz from the Barossa Valley in Australia. This is part of the April 2024 Somm Wine Club box. Now Whistler Wines is a relatively new producer in the Barossa. Martin and Sally Pfeiffer bought the Hayson Estate property in 1982 and started using it for sheep rearing and crops for about 15 years while they planted trees and laid out the blocks that they later wanted to plant to vineyards. Now, at the time, Martin was working as the head vineyard manager for one of Australia's most iconic wineries, Penfolds. So he was managing the Kalimna Estate vineyards in McGill, where they make Grange. And so he was able to get cuttings from the Grange vineyards to then plant in the Hayson Estate vineyard. So over those 15 years, they started planting, and in 1994, they got their first fruit off of the Hayson Estate vineyard. In 1997, that's when they bottled their first wine, and Whistler Wines was born. Now, Martin had already two generations prior to him of grape growing and farming in his family in Australia, and now the fourth generation, Sam Pfeiffer, has taken over the property and is working with his wife Kelsey, who's from Canada, to manage Whistler Wines and take it into the next generation. So I actually met Sam in 2021 along with winemaker Michael Corbett on a Zoom call that was organized by CAPS here in BC to kind of bring people together during COVID, have a little bit of a social time. So we get to talk a little bit about the wines, learn a little bit about the history and pieces of land and the property and everything else. And then he was visiting last year and we got a chance to connect again. And I've been wanting to put one of their wines into the box for ages, but it's just taken me a while to get to it. So here the Atypical Shiraz, and like the label says, this is not your typical Barossa Shiraz. So this is done with partial whole bunch. This is done on skins for 10 days. It's done in old oak casks for 12 months after fermentation. So they're really targeting a fresher, brighter style of Barossa Shiraz. Now, labels often tell a story. I love a label that tells a story, but this one is particularly direct in its storytelling. So you've got the two hands, really everything done by hand, kind of keeping in touch with nature, centered around the moon, which is, again, a nod to their biodynamic viticulture. You have a tawny frogmouth bird, which is a regular visitor to the property. You have an upside down house, because this is their house entry-level Shiraz, but flipped ups on its head, because it's not your typical Barossa Shiraz. And then the little book, writing a new chapter in the history of Barossa Shiraz. So, like I said, really direct in there. That's what this wine is. But let's see if what's in the glass matches what's on the label. Pretty classic Shiraz, Syrah characteristics here. Lots of black fruit, lots of blueberry, boysenberry, black plum. But it's not overripe, it's not jammy fruit, it's really fresh, vibrant fruit. Black pepper, a little bit of black olive. You get this kind of undertone of slight herbal note to it as well. Partial whole cluster will often give you a little bit of like a green, almost brambly, spicy character. And there's definitely some of that here. It's like whole bunch of blackberry bush, like thorn and leaf and berry all together. I really like this like subtle black olive thing that kind of comes through that gives a little bit of a savory note to the fruit. Again, because this is done all in old oak, we're not getting oak character. There's not vanilla or toasty spices here. This is really just more about fruit spice and again, the fruitiness, the black spicy fruit of it. Great mid-palate weight to this wine. It's only 13.5% alcohol, which if you've, I don't know, been drinking Barossa Shiraz for any number of years, you know that it can be 14.5, 15% alcohol, sometimes even higher than that in warmer vintages where they're really like getting a lot of ripeness out of those grapes. This is not that. This is elegant, it's more refined, it's softer in the mouth. It doesn't like punch you in the face with tannin or alcohol. The acidity is really refreshing and vibrant. And like I said, you're really getting fruit character, but not overripe fruit character. Just everything fresh, everything really well balanced. There's happily a little bit of this kind of meaty, spicy character, that savoriness that comes through on the finish as well. There is tannin here, but it's soft. It's gentle, easy drinkings. This is a very crushable Barossa Shiraz, which is not something that I think anybody has ever said before about Barossa Shiraz. You can chill this down a little bit. You can crush it without food, but throw some food at this, and then all of that acid will help to break down whatever it is that you're eating. So play off of that savory gaminess, play with venison or elk or like leaner cuts of meat. You don't necessarily need big fatty ribeye, but if you want to do that, you can. Just be aware that you want to kind of moderate your extra seasoning so that you're not going to overwhelm the intensity of the wine. You can play with like sweet and sour kind of characteristics here because this has so much of that tangy fruit character. But save some for after dinner because you're going to want to like sit and chill as we start to get into warmer weather. I mean, as long as it's not raining. You can sit outside on the deck, cool kind of mid-spring evenings, get that fresh air and fresh outside character. This makes me want to go back to Australia so bad. I used to live in Adelaide, so I like would drive through this area all the time, and I love this part of the country, and the whole country really, but especially like Barossa and McLaren and Adelaide, and it makes me sad. So I will be back. I definitely need to go and visit again because a lot's changed in the last 10 years since I was there. So glad to have this and to be able to share it with you, taking me back to times in my life and also into new discoveries. So I'm glad to be able to share it with everybody. I hope that you enjoy this. I hope that this is an enlightening moment when you're thinking of Barossa Shiraz, that it is not all knock you over the head. And yeah, share this with friends and family because everybody needs to know that there is a lot more to this region than maybe people have previously thought. So thank you. Appreciate it. Enjoy the Atypical Shiraz from Whistler Wines, and we'll see you guys all next time.